If you want to change the lower manifold gasket on your Jeep on your own, there are several excellent videos on YouTube that are very helpful. They were invaluable to me when I had to do it on my own Jeep. There were a few things that I came across or did differently, however, that may make your job a little easier. My first suggestion is to remove only what you have to. Decades ago, I learned a trick that has saved me a ton of time and frustration. By suspending hoses, harnesses, and other parts with cord from the hood, in many cases you can leave the other side intact. For this project, this technique was especially useful. I did not have to worry about the electrical harness for the fuel injectors and the many hoses. And it made putting it all back together much easier. When I was reinstalling the lower manifold, unfortunately I encountered two problems that required me to take it back out 2 more times. These issues are what prompted me to do this video, so hopefully it will spare someone else the trouble. When I lowered the lower manifold in the first time, it just wasn't seating properly, so I took it out and looked around. I didn't realize there was a metal guide in the back, just right of center. The back of the lower manifold has to fit under that guide before it can be put in place. Once I got the lower manifold back in and lined up, I threaded the bolts in an inch or so from front to back. When I got to the very last bolt on the left, I could not get it to thread. I tried using a mirror to get a look at the problem, but unfortunately I had to take the lower manifold out again. On that last bolt hole there is a little lip, and I must have been off by less than 1 millimeter for it to stop the bolt from threading. So when I put the lower manifold back in, I made sure the first bolt hole was absolutely centered with the blocks hole. That seemed to do the trick because all the bolts threaded properly. Of course, all that movement has the potential to damage the new gasket, which is why I wanted to give everyone a heads up. Currently there is about 6,000 miles on this new gasket, and fortunately everything is looking fine. My next suggestion is a simple reminder to look for other potential problems while disassembling. Taking everything apart is a great way to see how everything is working together and observe issues that may become problems later on. In this case, when I removed the upper manifold, I discovered a place where it looked like there was not a solid seal with the gasket. Since the alignment was fixed, I simply extended the gasket's width with some gasket maker. A project like this is also a great time to take advantage of the accessibility. With all of this wonderful open space, how can you not do other things too? Here is a list of all the things I did just because it was easier to do with the manifold removed. Having heard numerous stories about people dropping things down holes, I made sure I kept every hole covered whenever possible. When taking the upper manifold off, do it gently and keep an eye on the gaskets. One of mine came off and nearly fell in. A YouTube video warned me of this, so I was able to prevent this one. Thank goodness. I like to make things easy on myself, so I label and take pictures before and during so I do not have to figure things out later on. It was helpful on this project because I went slowly and took a week to complete everything. To get the best results from the new lower manifold gasket, make sure all of the surfaces are super clean and dry. There may be buildup in some of the small indentations around the intakes. It needs to come off because that little lip is basically all that is giving you a seal. After trying numerous things, I found seafoam worked the best. I put a clean garbage bag over the opening so nothing would fall in. I cleaned a little section at a time with a rag and toothbrush and went slowly to make sure I wasn't harming the metal. When I was done cleaning, I removed the oily film with 91% isopropyl alcohol on a clean, lint-free rag until it was dry to the touch. The lower manifold had a thin layer of seemingly carbon and oil inside each runner. After plugging up the radiator fluid holes in front with plastic bags, I took a large bottle brush, dipped it in seafoam, and scrubbed each runner. I then let the seafoam soak on the walls overnight. The next day I sprayed them with carburetor cleaner and it all came off easily. Seafoam worked well for cleaning the upper manifold as well. I looped a zip tie on the end of a clean, lint-free rag and fed it through the holes and pulled it back and forth. After cleaning it with seafoam, I used some electronic component cleaner to remove the oily film. Make sure to remove the map sensor before cleaning so it won't get contaminated with chemicals and debris. Good luck with your project.